And Schmit, again, we've seen him in some absolute wars here in the Hard Knocks cage. We know he can take a punch, and he can throw one too, as evidence there. A nice knee to the head there of Josh Griffin, getting in close, getting in tight, and maybe taking away some of that ability to strike with the karate from Josh Griffin.
Well, you take away a striker's space, and you're going to have an advantage, and that is what Justin Schmit is doing, pushing his opponent up in the cage, and we'll see if he works for the takedown here.
Shoulder to the head, and again looking for the single leg. Has the single leg, now picks up his opponent, gets him to the ground, but doesn't secure the full takedown.
Yeah, we talked about earlier about securing a single leg and then going to a double, and that's what Justin Schmit should do to continue and get the takedown, just like he did right there, 1 minute in, and there's the takedown.
Schmit now has Griffin down, trying to work through. Has passed in, but Griffin does have control of Schmidt's head at this point as it's on the side of his body. Going to keep working up, though, and trying to get into maybe a side control, but Griffin fighting his way out of that temporarily.
Very calm and relaxed are both fighters, Justin Schmit and Josh Griffin, waiting to get this position to a point where they can try and take advantage of it. You got to look that Josh Griffin's going to try and wall walk with his back up there and try and get back to a standing position. Justin Schmit going to do everything he can to keep that from happening.
Continuing to hold him down. Although not much work being done from Schmit here either, Jeremy. Just doing a good job of securing that cage control, but Griffin having to expend a lot of energy to get out of it and look for another takedown here as he's got him up off his feet, but is unable to kind of make that turn and slam him to the ground.
Well, and there's something to be said about these big lifts that Justin Schmit is doing, and I don't know if they're really necessary if you're not going to really secure a good solid takedown. All it is just going to wear you out, and you hear some chanting in the crowd for Josh Griffin out of PMA Karate here in Calgary.
Schmit again has Griffin up against the cage, now starting to throw a couple knees. And again, both fighters very familiar with striking way up off the ground and slamming with authority. Justin Schmit now with an emphatic takedown.
Yeah, now that's more of what we were talking about earlier, where if you're going to pick your opponent up, make sure it's a big, strong takedown. And as you see now, Josh Griffin settling in. He's got a fairly lazy guard on, but a guard nonetheless. And again, you see Justin Schmit trying to work in, trying to land these strikes.
Now Schmit on top, trying to continue to work. Griffin doing a good job of limiting the damage so far, but Jeremy, at this point, it's got to be Schmidt's round with still 1.5 minutes to go. But Schmidt's been on top when they've been on the ground and up against the cage. It's been Schmit with a dominant position.
Minute 30 seconds remains now. Still on top is Justin Schmit as he's trying to work in, trying to land effective strikes, and he is starting to land them here, posturing up. But got to watch that up kick, as Josh Griffin can use those powerful legs to cause a lot of damage if he catches the chin of Justin Schmit.
Schmit now back in the guard, trying to pass. Momentarily had, but Griffin gets back. And again, both fighters not doing much in the way, Jeremy, of necessarily dynamic offense, but still landing punches from this position. And Schmit now posturing up, trying to find a hole, trying to find past the legs of Griffin. And nice punch there. A couple nice strikes from the top here. Justin Schmit grabbing onto Griffin, but Griffin, again, a veteran of karate tournaments and karate fights throughout, certainly has the chin to take it.
Less than 30 seconds remains as Justin Schmit continues to punish Josh Griffin. We don't see any noticeable cuts or scrapes at this point, but the referee now, Brian Beauchamp, going to stand them up, so we're going to have a pretty exciting finish here to round one, as now we see the kicks come from Josh Griffin, and both swinging for the fences. A nice short elbow by Griffin lands right on the jaw of Justin Schmit.
Yeah, it was a nice...
Most likely want to take this one to the ground.
They touch gloves, and Griffin comes out kicking. And again, Schmit tries to tie him up inside and get close. Looks like Griffin trying to secure a takedown there, Jeremy, but Schmit not having anything to do with it.
On good position there for Justin Schmit.
Griffin now has Schmit up against the cage. We have an opposite from round number 1.
And good defense here shown by Josh Griffin, extending himself up, making it so it's very difficult for Justin Schmit to pick him up. To get that position, you need to be bent over as it is right now, but as soon as he straightens up, it makes it very hard to get that elevation. And now a single leg, and coming off the cage is Josh Griffin, but that's something that he immediately retreats to after he realizes it's better there.
Yeah, the guillotine was there momentarily, but doesn't come through. Now elbows to the side of the head of Justin Schmit, and that certainly will cause him to move a little bit. And again, trying to secure that double leg, trying to squeeze his knees together at this point, Jeremy. Probably looking for another slam here as he tries to get him up against the cage, and it looks like they're going to get stood up again.
Well, Brian Beauchamp has no patience, it seems today, for any sort of laying around. So anytime that the action is slowing down, Beauchamp is calling them, and there's some good striking from both guys. And again, to the legs is Justin Schmit, but he needs to be able to finish this one, and he does now. And we'll see if he can get to work here. He's got 3 minutes to work with.
Schmit on top of Griffin. Griffin tying him up. Schmit looked like he took a bit of a breather there, wasn't reacting, but now is postured up, and now some nice punches to the ribs of Josh Griffin. And we saw a fight end earlier tonight with a shot to the body, and Justin Schmit doing what he can to maybe duplicate those results by throwing big shots to the body here.
Well, he needs to be patient. He needs to try and isolate an arm and get it out of the way so he can land some strikes. And that's what he's trying to do as he swings around to side control. And as he does, if he is able to trap one of those arms down, he'll be able to land some significant strikes. So we'll see what happens here with 2 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the second round of this scheduled 3-round fight.
A nice punch there from Schmit down onto Griffin, and now he's got his back. We'll see what he can do there. A nice scramble from Griffin, but now winds up in the mount, and Justin Schmidt's going to be looking to unload here. He's going to drop down elbows on Griffin. Griffin gives up his back, but a nice transition, spins into now a half guard on top.
Well, and there's something to be said about, again, we talk about combat intelligence and some nice strikes being landed here by Josh Griffin from the top, and now he's got a mount, and we'll see what he can do from it. But now he's working on an Americana, unable to get it. Now on the back is Josh Griffin, so good continuity in the jiu-jitsu shown by Josh Griffin.
Taking the back and looking for the rear naked choke here, as he keeps trying to find a spot, pushes that head forward, trying to dig under the neck, but nice 2-on-1 defense from Eric Schmit, but those hooks are in. Josh Griffin doing a good job here with 2 straight jiu-jitsu losses to start his MMA career, maybe trying to get one of those back here as he looks for the choke, tries the face wash to pull off the face and get it in. Some big kicks to the midsection, and one of those was low. But after a first round that saw his opponent dominate, and now at best he'll look at a draw for this round and possibly be down 2 points, that's a devastating point to lose for Josh Griffin.
Yeah, unfortunately at this point, unless he's able to finish Justin Schmit, he's fighting for a draw. And that's got to be very, very disheartening, although it doesn't look like it's affected his game much. You look at Justin Schmit pushing against the cage, and less than 30 seconds remains here. But again, we talked about the anaerobic systems of Justin Schmit. That short recovery is going to reset his muscles in the way that he used them for playing hockey all those years, and it's nothing but to his advantage.
Less than 10 seconds remaining. Elbows coming from Josh Griffin for a potentially a draw, and if he can win the third round, comes away with a big spin kick, but got caught with a right hand from Justin Schmit, who's unloading up against the cage, trying to finish this one, and trying to have it be a definitive answer as to who won this fight, and a nice takedown there.
Well, and it was a nice takedown, and again, you talk about those anaerobic systems. You get about 30 seconds of hard action, and then you have to take a rest. And this is a good way for Justin Schmit to go. Come out hard, do some damage, take him down, and rest on the ground. But a very nice sweep by Josh Griffin. And now Josh Griffin will look for the finish, which is his only chance to really win this fight, as we're pretty sure that the best he can get is a draw.
Big elbows coming there from Griffin. Griffin laying punches, Schmit surviving and getting out. Maybe a triangle here, fights to get that second arm in. A nice work there from Schmit to get that other arm in and get himself out of that very dangerous position, Jeremy.
Excellent job, and again, you talk about positioning over power. If Josh Griffin take that time to, instead of land those extra shots, take that time, get some position, he might not have got turned over. But you look here now, Justin Schmit getting to work, and a little bit of ear clap. I've seen it in video games and movies. Andre the Giant and Princess Bride comes to mind, but it's effective, I guess.
Griffin still trying to strike from the bottom. As Schmit gets over, one arm out now. Griffin will try and lay this out, and the arm bar is in there. Whether or not he can turn it in time. Schmit taps, Griffin wins. This fight is over with an arm bar victory by Josh Griffin.